I know we don't have much more time with you this morning, but it's been really great to see. Where's this photo?
That's in the Grand Canyon. I believe that is looking from the North Rim. Yeah, you get these inversions where you're actually above the clouds looking down in on top of the clouds because of what happens there, because it's so deep. It's and it changes by the minute, literally. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you've been to the Grand Canyon, it will look different to you every time you go.
Yeah.
Little glimmer of sunshine.
Yeah.
Sunrise. Is your favorite sunrise or sunset?
I like sunrise because there are very few. Well, and there aren't many people out there.
Yeah.
Sunset tends to be hordes of people unless you're up on the North Rim.
Speaking of the North Rim, I was just thinking of this. On Sunday, our pastor at church was sharing that when he was driving from Arizona out east, they drove through the North Rim at the Grand Canyon, and he said for the first time in his life, he saw a rainbow that was a full, complete circle.
Oh, wow.
Because it came from, there was a storm that had just passed. Yeah. And I think where else in the world would you be able to see something like that?
Yeah, it's a mile deep. You know, I mean, it's so wide, you know, it's 10 miles wide.
Look at that with the stars.
Yeah, so, Grand Canyon National Park is an international dark sky park. So it's got the official designation. They've converted all the lights there to help enhance that night. And it's getting harder and harder to experience that around the country. But the Grand Canyon's still a great place to do that.
And there's several different hikes that you could take down into the canyon.
Yeah, hiking is a great option, but even if you're not an extremist, there's a rim trail that's completely level and it goes from point to point. So if you have kids, and it's paved, if you have a stroller,
the baby stroller, the jogging stroller,
whatever it might be, or bikes, are welcome there too.
Look at that shot. My goodness.
It's very accessible. People think it's not, but it really is.
Can I just quote Christine Carroll this morning, who says, Arizona is so beautiful. Get out and travel. Use Arizona highways as a guide.
Thank
Robert,
we appreciate it. The check's in the mail.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
And next, we're up live with Fox weather. Snowy in many parts of the country. Haley?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Hi, Haley. Can you hear us? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi, Haley.
Oops, hold on. Go for it again.
Hi,
you're
Haley.
On a different mic today.
Hi, Haley. Oh, I am. Am I on 3?
You're on 2. Normally, you're on 3.
Oh, wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello,
Hi.
Haley.
Oh, we're going to have to do a phoner, I think. We have somebody let the gremlins in. You know what? I wonder if it's with all the yes. Yep. Okay. Is she on right now? Hey, Haley. Hi. This is live TV, right? We just make do with what we can. All right, girlie. All right, welcome back, everyone.
Yeah. By the way, Celeste.
Yes.
You're looking at Cadillac, Michigan. And I don't see a Cadillac in sight. I don't even see a horse in sight.
Is this where they would create Cadillacs, build Cadillacs?
But then they tore the factory down and went back to the old farm life.
Oh, yeah. Went back to horse and buggy after ditching the Cadillac.
Yeah, I think that was, I'm not quite sure where. Maybe that's right in suburban Detroit. It could be up in Flint. Oh, look, there's the guy. You see, he just hopped out of his four-wheeler?
Yeah.
He's going back in. He has how do you go out to a farmer like this and say, look, we're going to put a live camera out. You'll probably be live on Phoenix TV.
Yeah.
As you move about your property. I don't know.
And he pulled up in his Polaris.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it looks like it's one of those. Yeah, it's behind the Fox 10 Talks. And he's getting to work. The life of a farmer is not an easy one, Ron, but it's incredibly rewarding.
It really is. Let's salute America's farmers. Looks like the roads are moving around all fine. But, of course, our question is that still going to be the case over the next 3 days? So that's why we thought we're going to bring Haley on from Fox Weather.
Yes, we are. Haley, good morning to you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good morning to you guys, too.
Yeah, good morning to you guys, too. I mean, we are getting everything and the kitchen sink with our first real big storm, cross-country storm. Already looking at the genesis of this right now, but we've got severe weather, snow. I mean, you were talking about Michigan. Michigan could get in on some of the snow action, maybe a little bit of ice intermixed in here, and even the threat for some heavy rain, flash flooding. It's a murky setup, though. I mean, we've got a couple different lows that are starting to merge together. Right now, though, looking ahead to today, we've got this upper low that will eventually push into the Rockies, and this northern jet stream eventually will start to absorb it, and then we have another low that will develop kind of near y'all's neck of the woods over into New Mexico zone. But really, we have severe weather that starts come Wednesday, so tomorrow, and then Thursday, and going into Friday. Friday really is the big day for threats of damaging wind, a tornado threat. That's certainly on the table here. Wednesday, though, is day one, the kickoff day. Level 1 out of 5. But I will say that this level 2 has been at play for the last couple of days. And so when the Storm Prediction Center is saying, hey, we're looking at a big threat for severe weather this many days out, that's when you know that this could be one of our larger events. Now, this setup overall looks actually a little more eerily reminiscent of a fall-like setup. And we were pretty lackluster in the tornado department when it came to fall severe weather, so good news. But maybe this January we're just making up for lost time. I thought this was a fun statistic, though. We have our first official tornado of 2026. That was near the Tucson area, but actually a little bit north into central Arizona. But yeah, it was the very first one that we've had. It was a land spout, so not necessarily the same as a tornado. They're the same, but not exactly equals here. But it is that number one, and unfortunately, we could be adding to more of those totals come probably Thursday and heading into Friday. So here's the time frame, especially when it comes to the snowier component, because let's talk about it. I mean, the West Coast, you guys have been just desperate for a little bit of snow. Maybe not the Sierras. The Sierras, they had atmospheric rivers. The West Coast has been so dynamic. But we've had this big ridge of high pressure that's been locking you guys into this drier pattern. In addition to that, too, we also were in a very classic La Nina winter setup, which kept the upper Midwest very active, snowy. I mean, we had big-time snow totals. South Bend, Indiana was one spot. They were 2 feet in a surplus come mid-December. So that just goes to show that this was very classic. Typically in a La Nina, you guys over in Arizona, New Mexico, even Colorado, trend on the drier side of things. Here's how things change, though, coming into Thursday. We've got two separate lows. The first low coming more so out of Mexico, so you're bringing in that moisture. But the problem is it actually raises those snow levels. And so, unfortunately, snow levels with round one coming Wednesday, not necessarily as robust. But then come Thursday, we have another portion of energy that comes down to the Pacific Northwest, and that's where the snow starts to come in. So Flagstaff will likely see snow come Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Denver, Colorado, they've been desperate for some snow, and this is their big-time snow event. We're not talking huge totals, not feet for the Denver metro, but it is just something to say, hey, you guys, don't worry, winter's still here. I mean, as a matter of fact, an astronomical winter that started right before Christmas on December 21st, 22nd, 23rd, kind of varies on those dates. So we still got a long way to go for the winter season, and it's shaping up to be a snowier start for the new year in Flagstaff. So Wednesday evening, Thursday, those temperatures hovering right around freezing. So when it comes to the snow to liquid ratios, you're likely going to get probably close to a 10-to-1 type of variant. You've got a lot of moisture in that environment, too. By Thursday evening and then Friday, we're talking temperatures dropping even cooler than that, so the reinforcement of cold air. So what does fall likely will stick around for a little longer. This is just to show, hey, percent of average snow, I mean, for northern Arizona, New Mexico, they're running about 25% of where they would typically be sitting for a winter season. The Sierras made up for lost time in a matter of just 2 events where they were able to get 6 to 8 feet. So not necessarily the lucky winners for the Front Range, but this will be a much welcomed system. So this is Thursday for you guys, and then that low then starts to pull off towards the northeast, and the second low begins to develop. Friday, though, the zone that we'll be watching for is right along the Mississippi River for spots northern Mississippi, west Tennessee, northern Louisiana. But I wouldn't be surprised if we had that severe weather criteria extend a little further to the south. Right now, they're seeing a pretty significant moisture and heat transport, so we're actually talking record warmth for some spots across the southeast, and that's helping to aid in the instability in the environment, something that the models have been a little wishy-washy on over the last couple of days. For Saturday, that's when things start to head further to our neck of the woods here in New York City and just across the northeast. This warm front sending temperatures much warmer than what we would typically be looking at this time of year. So for D.C., you're into the 60s, New York City into the 40s. Not a classic snow setup by any means. But eventually, as that cold front slices through, you'll get the reinforcement of cold air. So Michigan, 27 over in Alpena, they could see some snow on the backhand side of this low. Buffalo as well. Now, with this low hanging out up in Canada, this potentially could add a chance for some lake effect snow on the backhand side, so something we'll be watching out for, but nothing like what Oswego and Syracuse saw over the last couple of weeks. They got like 3-4 feet of snow in just a weekend's time due to some pretty significant lake effect snow bands that have set up. And then that brings me to my last point, the heat. Now, for the southeast, they have been baking. For some spots, especially in Texas, they had one of their warmest Decembers on record. Austin, Texas, they were into the upper 80s, pushing 90, not quite reaching 90 for the beginning of the new year. We're still looking at over 50 new record highs. So that's why the onset of this event is likely going to be on the warmer side for folks in New Mexico and even out into Arizona. But eventually, we'll watch that low start to dip further south and bring in some of the cooler air out of the Pacific Northwest. So record highs for the rest of this week, over 70 likely as the low kind of jets further to the north and northeast. But it's this heat right here that has my attention when it comes to building up the potential for severe weather. But
well,
yeah, it looks like this could be our first big severe weather event of the year, you guys.
You know, Haley, can we just give Haley a round of applause? That was amazing. Haley, a wealth of knowledge, and I think you spoke for like 8 minutes. You are incredible.
I'm telling you, I learned a lot in the last 7 or 8 minutes. But let's talk a little bit more about this heat in the West. I have a picture. My daughter lives up in Salt Lake City, and they are saying that they have not had any real snow, at least in the Salt Lake Valley. Now, let me just show our audience this. We do have, finally up around the ski hills, up around Snowbird and Alta and Brighton and some of those, they finally got some snow up in the mountains, up in the Wasatch.
Finally.
I mean, honestly, it's been... People are like, it's almost the middle of January. Where's the snow? So, and then this is Montana, and whoever those folks are with their ranch house right there on the golf course. Look, those are big Montana flakes. But then I asked them, Haley, I said, well, will you just step outside? They're in downtown Salt Lake City, and I'm going to pop up this picture right here on graphics. I think this is graphics 9. That is not what they want to see. It's just bone dry, not a drop of snow in the whole Salt Lake Valley. So why is this happening?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of that boils down to the La Nina setup that we've had to start off December and the winter season. And what that would mean is a little more of a dynamic jet stream to the north. So you have this cooler air that can filter down from Canada, from the Arctic for a spot like the upper Midwest. So Chicago, they had big time snow events. South Bend, Indiana, I mentioned they had some big time snow as well. Even here in the Northeast, New York City, we've had one of our bigger snow years compared to, the last 5-10 years. I mean, it was, we had a snow event where we got got 4 inches of snow. Is the first time we had 4 inches of snow in one event in over 1,400 days. And so it's all about perspective. So the La Nina was really helpful in the snow department to the north, but to the south, it keeps things much drier, especially for the Four Corners, even into the Front Range of Colorado. And especially for a spot like Denver, just highlighting them, it takes a very specific type of setup to give Denver some big time snow. You'd actually need a low to kind of be sitting to the north and funneling the air up and over the Rockies, moving more so from the east to the west as opposed to classic west-east. So then you have that front slope area, and that's helping to produce more of the snow. So we really haven't seen that set up for Denver, so that has been an issue for them. But yeah, I mean, I think that just kind of, it boils down to a La Nina. But the good news is we're transferring away from a La Nina entering into a La Nada, so more so Enzo neutral. And that can open up the storm door a little bit more for folks across the Four Corners and even into the Rockies, the Wasatch Range, like you guys mentioned over in Salt Lake City. And hopefully there's a little more snow in the future. It seems like at least with the next couple of weeks, the pattern will be more areas of low pressure, more energy that can make itself really popping up across portions of the Rocky Mountains. So hopefully the Enzo neutral will be a benefit to you folks across the Southwest.
Well, we just love the fact that you took some time to hang with us, Haley. Thank you so much. That was, we in our YouTube chat, folks are loving the fact that it's interesting, intriguing, and you came forward with so many interesting facts. So thank you. We so appreciate it. Did a great job.
Yeah. Love to be back anytime.
Have a good day. Thank you.
That was great with Haley.
Oh,
that's
my goodness.
for sure.
I just learned so much about that.
I know.
Wow.
She got all the facts and figures right there on the tip of her tongue.
Yes, she did.
One other thing I did just want to mention, because I said, look, if you guys will go outside with your camera on this street in Salt Lake City, give me a picture of what it looks like today. Any snow at all. So that's courtesy of Nick Faulkner.
You know what would be great?
My daughter Michelle's hubby.
Michelle and Nick.
Yep.
We love you here in FTT. I know you're in Salt Lake City probably watching.
I bet so.
All right.
Nick's probably called up all family members.
I was actually thinking, for all of you in the chat, if you want to take a picture of something outside your front door and you want to email it in to Fox10Talks at fox.com, we would love to. You are our eyes and ears in the valley, and it's going to be raining. There's going to be some storm activity over the next couple of days. Maybe you can take some photos in your neighborhood and email those into us at Fox10Talks at fox.com. And maybe at the end of the week, we'll pop a couple of them up during our storm coverage.
I love that for sure. Here's one more look at, another snowy scene, that's for sure. By the way, to me, the most amazing thing, the low on Friday morning, like Crystal's been saying, 39 degrees.
Saturday morning.
Oh, Saturday morning.
39.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it'll warm to 40, though, Ron, when you go to church on Sunday.
Good. All right, we'll be right back with more FTT. Thanks for hanging with us. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
This is, Bella's from the Northwest, Celeste, just like me.
Of course.
But she's from the rainy side of the state. So, I don't know. You'd go whole winters with maybe not much more than 1 or 2 snows?
Yeah.
Sometimes none?
Most none.
Yeah.
Mostly none.
Yeah. Not Wenatchee. Let me tell you.
On the east
You were snowed in.
You were on the east side.
There's a story out there that there's a ski hill on top of Stevens Pass, and the road was shut down. I don't know if it's still shut down now, but there was so much damage from all the flooding and the atmospheric river, and they weren't offering refunds for season tickets for people who wanted to go up and ski.
Oh.
Now, I hope there's been a resolution to that.
Sounds like somebody needs to call the manager.
And if you can't get through to him, go for the assistant manager.
Or just call us and we'll talk about it on TV and see if we can get a fix happening.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's so good to have you, Bells.
Okay,
So good to be here.
Ron,
Yes.
we were just talking about her curls. Aren't they beautiful?
They are.
They're
Thank you.
gorgeous.
They really
I got a
are.
haircut.
I know.
Nice.
So
Thanks.
pretty. Sorry, I'm just going to go like this the rest of the
that's
show.
okay.
There you go. It's not uncomfortable.
No, she is
Correct.
totally welcome
Thank
to
you,
do that.
Bells.
Thank you.
Let's talk about pizza, one of our favorite topics.
Ooh.
Okay, let's talk about
Now,
it.
for starters, Celeste, this morning on your segment, which
Yes.
airs on TV at 6:45, and then we have a chance on our show sometimes to give it a little more depth.
Oomph.
You could say oomph. But I will just say, you were asking everybody, well, what's your favorite food? And I said crab louie,
Yes.
which I think surprised you.
Well, it did surprise me. And what I shared with Ron on the air this morning was Gary and I were able over the holiday break to book a last minute restaurant reservation at Durant's.
Yum.
And it was like 9 p.m. We're like, we're just going to go for like an appetizer or share a meal or something because it was kind of late.
Yeah.
So we look at the menu and Gary's like, ask the waiter,
Where's the crab louie?
where's the crab louie?
Oh, man.
On the lunch menu. And so he says we got rid of it. It was one of the items.
No.
And so they asked us for suggestions. It was really thoughtful. They said, well, how do you, they had this creme brulee trio they used to have for dessert.
Yeah.
That they need to bring back
Now,
too.
can I tell you about the cheapskates version of crab louie?
Go ahead, Ron.
And that would involve
Go
me
on.
as the storyteller. So lately, I've been going to Safeway's Deli, and they have it's called a seafood salad.
Okay.
And they kind of chop it up to look like it's crab meat, but it's really white pollock,
Okay.
which is actually supposed to be one of the healthier fishes.
Okay.
Okay. Or fish, depending on how
So
your
it's a
plural
seafood
goes.
salad in the deli department
Correct.
where the pre-made salads are.
Yeah, right next to the potato salad.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what I do is, and that's $8.99 a pound.
Okay.
What I do is make my own salad, chop up a few pickles and onions, and then I put maybe $1 worth of this fake seafood, or it's real
crab
seafood.
louie. It's crab
fake
salad.
crab, and then I pour the Thousand Island over. I feel like I'm back at Durant's.
Oh my gosh. Can we say food segment with Ron Hoon?
The less expensive version.
Yeah, we were talking about the fact, though, that pizza has been #1 on the list of favorite foods forever, Bells.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pizza, Bells? I know we've chatted about this in the past, but to remind us.
I love a Hawaiian. Give me the pineapple.
I do too, yeah.
But I also love a meat lovers. I want all the meat and all the veggies. Yeah.
So good. Well, I think a lot of people, got over 30 people now live in the chat with us. And I think you share with us, what's your favorite pizza? Here's the story. Pizza has reigned king when it came to the favorite food behind fast food. But the Wall Street Journal is now reporting that pizza shops are now outnumbered by 2 things. Bells, Ron knows this story. So you guess, what are the 2 things outnumbering pizza these days in terms of favorites around the country?
And it's a food.
One's a food, and the other one's kind of a
Non-food.
non-food.
Like a drink.
Yes.
Is the drink like coffee?
Yeah,
Oh,
good. Okay,
Bella.
shop is one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other one is a type of food.
It's got to be burgers.
I was
Wait, I actually don't remember this.
Oh, you
part
don't
of the
remember?
story.
Okay.
Is it? What's your guess, Bella?
Burritos.
Okay, good answer.
Oh, that's right.
It was Mexican food.
It is Mexican food.
Yeah, so Mexican food is now reigning along with coffee shops as the most popular types of meals.
But look at these guys right here at this table. Now, I've never seen a happier bunch of people.
I know.
They have consumed 2 or 3 slices.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, Bella. Hawaiian lately is my favorite.
It hits different. It's so
Ron,
good.
when are you going on vacay?
Next week?
Are you going on Friday?
I don't know. Why?
Oh, because we should order pizza here on the stream and have some delivered Hawaiian, since we all love the Hawaiian pizza.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
So the sales figures for pizza are still okay.
Yeah, they're still okay. It's just that in terms of
others are growing
favorites,
more, yeah.
Mexican food is growing and coffee shops are growing as well.
And the other thing I was going to mention, Bella, there's a new chain that's really popular in Asia, and they're opening their very first store in the U.S., I think, in Manhattan, and I want to call it Mixue, something like that.
Okay.
It's spelled Mixue, Mixue.
Okay.
And what they are is just a cheaper alternative. Like their ice cream cones, they cap them at about $1.
Wow.
They cap all their coffees at $4.99 or less.
Wow.
Okay.
And I'm
From
not
China.
It sounds like Temu got into the fast food business, honestly.
It's a Temu fast food.
Sounds
No
good.
kidding. Okay, so here's a deep dish meat lovers pizza. That's coming from Weigold.
Okay.
In the chat.
Nice.
Burgers, says Darla Nicole. That's her favorite. Supreme pizza, all the veggies, some meat too, says Christine Carroll. Plenty of you are saying everything except anchovies, Husky Mom says. And this is from Husky Mom. Louie, I see a nap in our future. Maybe it's all this food talk and then the food consumption that we're about to have as well. But Linda Montrose says she loves Hawaiian pizza along with us 3.
Linda, come to the Hawaiian pizza party.
Yeah, right? Well, she lives out there in Thatcher.
Yes,
out in
very
Safford
far.
and Thatcher. And we're here. We could meet halfway in Globe. I bet there's a good pizza joint. Actually, there is a really great pizza joint.
On Main Street right there.
Right on Main Street. And it's from a chef from here in the Valley who fell in love with Globe and went up there and opened his own
It is a really
Italian
cool
place.
town.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Is it called Globe Main Street Pizza?
Let's just see. Can you Google map it? I have it.
Main Street.
I don't know about the name because it's been about 3 years, but I could tell you right where it is.
Hold on. Globe, Arizona. Main Street Pizza. Those are the places. Leonard Paul's Pizza.
Zoom in.
Okay, we're zooming.
Oh, I think it's DeMarco. I think it's DeMarco's. Is it on the right side of the street?
Yeah, it's on the right-hand side when you're driving in, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Oh, yeah, there's Round Mountain Park. Okay.
Anyway, we love Globe. We really support Globe because they were hit so hard. So anytime we get a chance.
Yeah.
By the way, so that's the big trend now, in the world of food. But have you guys seen the story about this other trend among, let me just see here. Let me make sure I've got the right video. This other story is about the trend in car thieves in Georgia.
Oh, no.
Apparently the new trend is
gosh.
be naked.
He's nude? It looks cold.
Don't worry, everybody. We blurred out the midsection.
You're going to have to explain this.
All right.
Okay, and then there's going to have to be some wiping down of the back of the patrol vehicle. What is happening?
Okay, so here's the story in a nutshell. I'm not even sure it is a new trend. It's probably just one weirdo. A suburban neighborhood in Atlanta got more than they bargained for in an eyeful of a guy who I think maybe. He had a tablecloth covering. That's why they're calling him the tablecloth guy.
Okay.
So at least he had that level of modesty, you might want to say.
Did he say, watch the taser, watch the taser?
Okay, so police said the video from Gwinnett County shows the guy now ID'd running around the neighborhood in various states of nudity. Police say they were looking for him after his employer. This guy's really, let me tell you, he's batting 1,000. First, his employer called the police to say he took a company truck home and he didn't come back, him or the truck. Then they find him with this car right here. He's going to face a bunch of charges, including first-degree burglary, but he apparently tried to steal several cars. And so the police were on the case, and Celeste, I think you nailed it. Wipe down that back seat.
Yeah, wipe it down. Well, when they were handcuffing him, it looks like they had to blur the video.
Yeah.
And what kind of shoes is he wearing? What is
Crocs?
I don't know. Are those Crocs?
I don't know. And
So he is stylish in the footwear area.
He's got socks on. He probably thought if I put socks on, I'll stay warm.
If I put it in sports mode, then
well,
I'll
the
be
feet
okay.
do set the temperature for the rest of the body.
He should have put
from
a beanie
top to
on.
bottom.
Wow.
Held in that heat.
Or some clothes.
Or
Like
clothes. Yeah.
Hey, one last story. We go to Glendale. Here's another trend that we should be talking about this morning, where they have come up with, this is another story that involves the police. They've come up in Glendale with some new rules. E-scooters, to ride them in Glendale, you got to be 12 years old. So if you got yourself an e-scooter and you're 10, Now, do we like these rules? I don't know. So if they go 20 miles an hour on an e-bike up to 20, you got to be 14. And then if they go a little faster than that, say 25, you got to be 16.
Wow.
You know, I think this is a good idea.
Okay.
I had about 5 friends in college who
Yes.
were all over 18. They all ended up in the ER because
Every
they were
one of them?
riding
Wow.
Really?
e-bikes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, they
what's
can
the
get
problem?
dangerous.
I mean, if you can ride a bike, you can ride an e-bike. Did they forget how to pedal?
Well, and I think they
There's probably many factors contributing to why. One was hit by a car.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Well, and I think the e-bikes, at least what we've seen here in the Valley and around the nation, they're kind of like a group of kids that are together, and maybe they they're not watching traffic.
Mm-hmm.
They're not watching where they're going. And some of them are getting hit, unfortunately.
I guess for the ones that are slower, because I feel like I've seen some kids in my neighborhood that are on e-bikes that are younger than 14, I feel like. But I think they're slower. So I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know if this is going to, I'm a libertarian, so I'm like, whatever. But
Well, at least you still believe in the Constitution of the United States, Ron.
I sure do,
That's-
Celeste. I
yeah.
am red, white, and blue. But anyway, we have some more new laws to obey. And by the way, the fines start at $50 and go up from there.
So you like Bernie Sanders? Was he a libertarian? I'm trying to remember. Who are famous
Well, I don't know.
libertarians?
He's not my kind of libertarian. He's a socialist, first of all, which might even be the opposite of a libertarian. But anyway.
Adam Smith. Oh, Ron Paul.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ron Hoon.
Ron Hoon and Ron Paul. Gary Johnson.
Yes.
Oh, Clint Eastwood and Dennis Miller.
They're
all
libertarians? Who knew? All right.
You're
anyway,
in good company,
I'm
Ron.
a libertarian sometimes, some days. Other times I'm not. Anyway, whatever.
Thank you all for watching, by the way.
Should we clear out of here for Ty?
Well, and hanging with
And
us
Taylor?
through all of the technical difficulties. We've teed it up for Tay Tay and Ty.
Yeah, we did. How about that for the name of this new show for a week? Tay Tay and Ty. Next.
All right, welcome on in, 11 o'clock. We're keeping the shot up because I was like, that is so pretty. It's just kind of a nice, calm way to start off a Tuesday morning, Taylor.
It is very wintry, very different from our weather, but
it is
nice to look at. Probably not nice to be in,
No,
though.
I was going to say, growing up in the mountains, I love to look at the snow, but I don't like to shovel the snow. I don't like to drive in the snow, but it is nice to look at every once in a while. This is Petoskey, Michigan. I saw someone in the chat had guessed Michigan. You were exactly right. So nice.
Better guess than mine.
And here we are on your Tuesday morning, and we're kind of in the thick of flu season. I feel like at least everyone knows someone who's been sick, and this has been kind of a brutal flu season.
It has been. People are dropping like flies everywhere you turn, and I know yesterday a bunch of us near our desks here were Lysoling everything.
Yes. My hands, I don't know if you can see, like dry because I have been sanitizing so often because I do not want to get sick. It's kind of nasty out there. This has been a brutal flu season. So we thought we'd bring in a professional here this morning, a doctor, to kind of give us a little rundown on what they are seeing in the ER and beyond. So this is Dr. Moneesh Bhow. He is at the Emergency Department Medical Center at Banner. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're doing well, thank you. I guess we'll start off right at the top is explain what you're seeing in the ER when it comes to these flu cases.
Yeah, we're seeing a definite spike. Definitely the amount of flu cases that we're seeing and the types of patients that we're seeing have definitely increased from last year, and the types that we're seeing are generally different than what we've experienced in the past.
And can you explain kind of what those differences are?
So I think this year we're seeing a lot more otherwise generally healthier and younger patients. Extremes of ages generally are the ones got affected the most, and that's what we generally see in the emergency department. But this year, definitely younger, generally healthier patients are being affected and coming to the emergency department for a visit.
Dr. Bhow, we were saying it feels like everyone we know is sick right now. Have we reached that peak of flu season, or is that still yet to come?
I think it's still yet to come. We're still seeing cases rise, at least in Arizona. And so we're probably still a little bit away from the peak.
Now, we always talk about the flu shot. And I think, when is it? Like the fall is when you're kind of supposed to get that flu shot to give you kind of the protection as we head into the winter. Is it still too late to get that flu shot? And second question to go along with that, is the flu shot actually offering any protection against this strain?
Yeah, so ideally in the fall is when we get the flu shot. So you get, it takes about 2 weeks for the flu shot to reach maximum efficiency or effectiveness. We still haven't reached the peak, so we're probably still looking at least another 4 to 6 weeks. So even getting the flu shot currently is of value. And then, so this year, definitely the strain that we're predominantly seeing is something called H3N2, which is what we call a mismatch for the current vaccine. So while it's not directly affecting it and may not prevent all cases, it definitely still helps with the severity of illness, reduced hospitalizations, and ultimately reduced amounts of deaths.
And who's a good candidate? I guess the better question, who's not a good candidate for the flu shot? Is there a category?
Generally it's recommended 6 months and above can get the flu shot. Obviously, there are some people that have hypersensitivity reactions or allergic reactions to it, so those should be avoided. But generally, for most people, it is generally safe and generally effective.
What are some of the big symptoms that you're seeing come into the ER when it comes to this particular flu strain?
So classically, it's the fevers, chills, cough, sore throat, body aches, some GI upsets such as vomiting, diarrhea, and generalized fatigue and weakness are the main complaints. So similar to what we've seen in the past with flu.
All right, we're getting some questions in the chat, Doctor. We have someone, Brandy the Bookworm, who is saying, as someone who is majorly immunocompromised, is it okay to get the flu shot? Is that something that you would recommend, or is it best to just kind of speak to her doctor specifically?
Yeah, those are the patients that would definitely require, or I would suggest that they do get the flu shot to prevent deterioration or worsening of symptoms.
All right. I guess, what are your recommendations if someone does get the flu? We always say, if you are sick, stay home. We always hear, and I think we all became experts at this during the pandemic, of washing our hands all the time. And maybe if you are experiencing symptoms and you do have to go out in public, to mask up. But what are some of the other tips that you're offering folks?
Yeah, exactly like what you guys said earlier, is lysoling the area, keeping contact surfaces clean, hand washing, mask is also a good thing. If you're sick, stay home. If you're out and about and you're coughing or sneezing, to do that in the arm of your elbow, or in your elbow.
And then I was going to ask you about Tamiflu. We always hear about folks, they go get tested and then they test positive for the flu and then they start Tamiflu. Can you explain what that drug is, how it works, and does it actually kind of, I guess, stop the severity and or the symptoms, or help the duration of those symptoms?
Yeah, so Tamiflu, if you think about it, it doesn't work in the same way as an antibiotic, but what it helps to do is that it helps to reduce the duration and maybe the severity of symptoms. So generally, you need to start it fairly early, so usually within 48 hours of onset of symptoms, and it generally reduces the duration of symptoms by approximately 1 day.
Is there anything that people can be doing that we're not thinking about besides the obvious lysoling, washing your hands, staying home if you're sick?
Yeah, I think the other couple of good things is obviously, in addition to the vaccine, keeping yourself well rested, well hydrated, strain and stress on the body, let's say in the form of lack of sleep, can also compromise your immune system and put you at risk of, an infection.
We're getting some more chats from folks. People are talking about traveling, going places that are colder than Phoenix. And I mean, I guess there's kind of that old wives' tale that if you go outside without your hat, your mittens on, that you might catch a cold. That's not necessarily how you catch a cold or flu, right?
Correct. It's really it's airborne. So it's just basically exposure with somebody who's infected.
Gotcha. I guess just wash your hands, right?
Yeah, stay home if you're sick. I know it's hard because all of us here, we love to work, and we have had people come to work not feeling their best, but it's just not worth it to get everybody, especially at a time that's so heightened right now.
Do you have any idea why this strain seems to be kind of kicking our butts this year?
Yeah, so actually this year the strain is a subtype of influenza A called subclade K. And what actually happened on this virus, there's a mutation on the gene that our immune system normally attacks. And because of that, we're not as effective in fighting this virus as we've had with other viruses. And so as we get infected by it, then we spread it more. And so it's more prevalent in society right now.
All right. Well, Doctor, we really appreciate your time this morning, shedding some insight on this brutal flu season. I'm sure we're probably going to have you on speed dial because it seems like things are still kind of ramping up.
It's still going on in Arizona. So, I think those preventive mechanisms are probably the best option that we have to, reach the peak sooner and start our downtrend.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, anytime. We appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, doctor.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And we were, wrong button. Sorry.
There we are. We're back.
I got fiddly fingers this morning. People in the chat are talking about listening to, hearing people coughing in the stores and things like that. And you can tell that they're probably not feeling well, but they're still going out in public. And
it's not the best feeling.
I don't know if you know this, Tay, but I am a germaphobe to the max.
Okay. So you must be very wary right now. There's been a lot of coughing in the newsroom. There's been a lot of
coughing in the newsroom. I was on a flight recently, and you could hear the lady a row up from me just had that cough that you could tell that she was sick, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I definitely am going to get this. But
so far, so
good.
So good. I thought Dr. Bhow had great advice about, obviously, the hand washing and everything, but it's kind of like the oxygen mask theory about taking care of yourself first. We are, of course, in this business so bad about sleep, as pretty much everyone is these days, but just those basic things like sleeping, taking your vitamins, eating healthy, probably working out.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is
Helps.
the basics.
It keeps that immune system going. I was going to ask him that. We should maybe try and get him back another time, but I was going to ask about, people always talk about when you're sick, lots of vitamin C, lots of liquids. I wonder if vitamin C, I always think it's like a placebo for me. I always feel like I take that vitamin C, it actually helps.
Yeah.
But there's been some different research on like vitamin C, if it actually helps
You
boost your immune
wonder.
system.
I know growing up, we used to tease my dad about that because he was a freak. Anytime someone would sneeze, vitamin C, it was the cure-all.
That was my house too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're going to move things along, you guys. We were talking about New Year's, and I think I asked you, did you make a resolution or more of a goal, right?
Yeah, more of goals. And, it's just the typical eat better, work out more, sleep more. I'm sure. What about you?
Exactly the same.
Okay.
My sleep was my last year's goal, and I did pretty good.
Considering your hours, that's impressive.
And I got, how, I don't know if on the Apple Watch, hold on, let me just show you this so you can see this. Watch this. Watch my sleep score. Look at that.
Wow. You must go to bed early.
I got a very high sleep score.
That is
I get real excited.
Very impressive for someone that works mornings.
Yeah. But listen to this. WalletHub came up and said, you know what? Arizona, specifically one city in Arizona, does really good when it comes to keeping those resolutions. So we have Chip Lupo with WalletHub joining us on Zoom this morning. Chip, good morning. Happy New Year.
Guys, thank you.
Oh, you bet. Let me make sure I'm getting audio. Can we try one more time, Chip? Just say hello one more time.
Happy New Year, guys.
We got you loud and clear. Thanks, Chip. Sorry about that. Let's get into it. Give us a little brief rundown on what this survey was that you guys found over at WalletHub. I love diving into the numbers like this. It's always fun.
Well, it's interesting because New Year's resolutions, and you guys kind of alluded to it, typically revolve around primarily two things, and it's usually health-related things or sleep, those types of things, or financial resolutions. A lot of people want to try to do better with their budgeting or spending less. But there's other types of resolutions also, and those range from things such as school and work resolutions, relationship resolutions, or bad habit resolutions, which can be as trivial as something like maybe not biting your fingernails in public, or something a little bit more serious like giving up smoking or trying to quit drinking, those types of things. So we try to be as all-encompassing as we can. And then, of course, we apply metrics to those, and those range from everything from eating habits, share of smokers, those types of things.
Chip, I'm going to cut you off real quick. We have to hit a hard break in 10 seconds, but if you can hold tight, stay with us for a 2-minute break. We'll have you come back on the other side of this break. So just hold tight. We'll be back with you in 2 minutes.
Fantastic.
All right, Chip is joining us once again from WalletHub. I'm sorry we had to cut you off like that, Chip, but we got to hit that hard break sometimes. So we got to pay the bills around here.
Got to pay the bills, yes. Got to keep those New Year's resolutions up also.
That is very true.
Exactly.
So when we left you were kind of talking about kind of how you guys, I guess, get all of this data and this information.
Correct. And again, we evaluate across a wide range of types of New Year's resolutions, and they are health, financial, school and work relationships, resolutions, rather, bad habit resolutions, and relationship resolutions. And again, we just applied 57 metrics to those: family ties, eating habits, potential for income growth, share of smokers, a wide range of topics there. So we crunched the numbers, ranked them from 1 to 182, and Scottsdale finished second on the list, only behind Seattle.
Wow.
Of folks that are able to kind of stick to these resolutions and actually make some progress on their goals. Why do you think that is? Can you attribute it to any one reason that Scottsdale is number 2, followed by Seattle?
Well, Scottsdale, what it has going for it, now, all of the cities in the top 5 for the most part are, of course, urban areas and foster active lifestyles, which means, for the most part, an abundance of fitness centers, weight loss centers, and those are both very high in Scottsdale. Interestingly enough, I talked to someone yesterday from San Diego on the same study. They rank very low on fitness centers per capita and the cost because they're outrageously high. And we came to the conclusion as well, San Diego, it's 72 degrees year round. Why not just go run for the beach rather than stay indoors in a gym? Scottsdale has a very high number of fitness centers and weight loss centers. The opposite. I mean, it's great weather year round, but would you rather go running in the desert 115 degrees in the middle of July? Or would you rather, just visit a nice, comfortable, air-conditioned gymnasium?
I think I would probably stick to the AC gym.
I would agree. Chip, I live in Scottsdale, and I have to concur. I moved here 6 months ago, and one of the first things I said to my parents was, I am motivated to get in shape. Still haven't met that goal yet in my mind, but I just feel like every time I'm going somewhere, everyone's outside running or walking. But then even our apartment gym is just phenomenal. It's above the typical apartment gym standard. And there's so many, they're expensive, but the healthy grocery stores, you see a Whole Foods on every corner and an AJ's. And it's really a lot easier to be healthy there. And I think that goes for a lot of cities in the Valley, though.
And I think too, a lot of restaurants that are more local, so they focus more on local ingredients and shopping and keeping it local. So maybe you're getting healthier items there as well.
Yeah.
And when you have an abundance of fitness centers, it drives the cost down because the average monthly membership at these fitness centers in Scottsdale are very reasonable compared to other urban areas.
What can you go through the list? You said Seattle was number 1, Phoenix was number 2. Can you give us those other numbers if you got them off the top of your head there?
Oh, sure. It's Seattle, Scottsdale, Arizona, Irvine, California, suburbs of L.A., Atlanta, Georgia, Salt Lake City, Utah. And rounding out the top 10 is Orlando, Austin, Texas, Fremont, California, the Bay Area suburb, San Diego, California, and Miami. So all large, sprawling urban areas with active lifestyles. So that's, for the most part, takes care of the health resolutions rank. What also worked well for Scottsdale is that it ranked very high in the financial resolutions. It has the highest median annual income of the major cities. And more importantly, actually has the 3rd highest median credit score, 762. Now, to put that in perspective, excellent credit is anything above 750.
Look at us. Okay,
so responsible people. I need to start out. Not myself necessarily.
Yeah, very low share of delinquent debtors, pretty high home ownership rate, which is key too, I think, in terms of financial stability and also for the overall general stability. When you're in an area in which there's a large percentage of home ownership, you're not maybe as subject to some of the things like property crimes as you would if you're in an area which is predominantly rental type properties. People tend to take care of what they own.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That does make sense. Interesting stuff. Well, Chip, we appreciate you coming on. Happy New Year. And anytime like I said, I love this kind of data and how you guys get down and dirty with all the numbers. It is fascinating. So anytime you have something cool, email us. We'll get you back on the show.
Fantastic. Look forward to it. Talk to you again more in 2026.
All right,
Thanks, Chip.
How cool is that?
Thank you.
I know, maybe like by osmosis, it'll start
That's
to
what
like,
by association. If I just go outside and start touching people, maybe not good during flu season, but just
people,
being
you're
in
gonna have so many restraining orders against you.
Just being in their presence, maybe soaking
go,
up the knowledge. I just got to get out on the street.
But if you do go into some of those neighborhoods, you can see like on the weekends, everybody's out there running, walking, biking. I mean, I do feel like the valley in itself is a pretty, I guess people are more cognizant of their physical health.
It is. I remember Scottsdale and Phoenix were ranked in some of the top for the healthiest places in America. And so that obviously goes hand in hand. And like you said, just having a variety of options for food, that's key as well.
Now, you mentioned that you've been here 6 months. Have you been hiking yet on any of our cool trails?
I have not. I've covered plenty of stories of
on the trails?
Other people hiking, but it's a little bit intimidating. I think when you cover so many stories about people having to be
rescued,
it's a bit of a deterrent. But
well, I'll take you.
Okay.
There's some fun trails.
All right, I trust you.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's get out. We have one more guest here this afternoon, or I guess this morning. And this one I'm very excited about. We have Allie Fried. She is at CES in Las Vegas. I am so jealous because I've always wanted to go to CES. I kind of consider myself a little bit of like a tech nerd. And this is some of the coolest stuff there is. Good morning, Allie.
For having me, and next year I fully expect you to be here on the show floor with me doing this in person.
Allie, sign me up. I will be there with bells on.
Let's make it happen.
All right. Give us kind of a brief rundown for people that don't know what CES is. Kind of start at the beginning. What is it?
Absolutely. Well, we are in a very exciting moment right now. Literally 10 minutes ago, the show floor opened to the world's largest and most influential consumer technology event on the planet. We have got more than 4,000 companies here for the next 4 days in Las Vegas, Nevada, with the latest and greatest in all things consumer technology, from mobility to electronics to new energy formats, AI, out of this world robotics. It is just a smorgasbord of innovation everywhere you look. The next wave of the future is in front of you.
I love that. Now, Allie, you kind of mentioned AI, but I mean, we couldn't go anywhere last year without talking about AI and how it's kind of changing and developing and getting smarter and better and helping, I guess, a lot of people in their daily lives. What are some of the cool things that you've seen so far? I know that the show just started, but what are some of the AI, I guess, techie things that you're seeing that are pretty interesting?
So I would kind of reframe that to say, what haven't I seen that doesn't have AI in it? It's crazy. I have seen a dinner plate that has an AI nutritionist built into it. So as you're eating your food, you have a little AI coach that pops up. It knows your body profile. It knows your goals. And it literally coaches you through your meal. Are you eating at the right pace? Are you eating the right things? Should you be making different nutrition decisions? So it's gone from passive monitoring to like real life coaching.
I don't know if I like that, Allie.
I feel like I don't need that kind of judgment in my life, but I feel like some people might.
Yeah, that AI.
AI and toothbrushes. There's a toothbrush on the show floor for kids aged 3 through 10, and it literally gamifies the brushing the teeth process. So they are like killing off enemies and earning points as they're brushing their teeth based on the angle and the depth of the toothbrush in their mouth, completely connected. But it was invented by a pediatric dentist who wanted to give the kids the actual knowledge and tools to brush appropriately while having fun and making a game out of it.
That is cool.
Yeah, we were nerding out over all this. Ty, you were talking about
that adult toothbrush that was like, they were saying you could brush your teeth in like 20, 30 seconds or something.
We were saying that seems a little intense.
Yeah, so it's toothpaste-less, so there's no toothpaste. It's all UV lights. It kind of looks like a retainer. You put it in, hit a button, 20 seconds, kills all bacteria, goes up between the gums. It's wild times. I'm hoping to bring one home with me.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Now, are these things that are out at CES that these companies are displaying, are they prototypes that may or may not actually make it to the market, or are these actually things that folks could potentially buy in a matter of weeks, months, years?
Yeah, great question. So we've got 4,000 companies on the show floor, and they span all types of product development areas. They also span all kinds of company sizes. So anything from your Fortune 100s and 500s with massive TV screens that are foldable and rollable and see-through, down to Eureka Park, which is actually one of my very favorite areas of the show floor. It's over 1,400 startup companies. So these are just mom and pops, anyone with an idea who can come in, show their product to the global stage of innovators. And so that's my long-winded way of saying they are in all forms of development. So some products are literally launching today. You will see them in market next week. Others are more futuristic. Hey, this is what the world could and will look like 6 months, a year from now.
I love that.
The dream realized in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's like the Jetsons, right?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. And, you know, Allie, whenever we talk about AI, there's so many cool things about it. But of course, there's always the fear behind it. Is anyone talking about the elephant in the room in that regard, or is there just too much excitement?
So CES is so fantastic in the fact that it brings the industry together to talk about the future of the industry and to talk about the pros, the cons, what do we need to be thinking through, how do we educate people. We've got more than 1,200 speakers at the show across 300 different conference sessions, and AI is a massive topic. I will say the general feeling here is that AI is seen as a tool to humans, right? So AI helping us reach our full potential, helping kind of get rid of some of those mundane tasks that computers can do for us, and helping us, you know, bring the emotion, bring the creativity, all those unique things that remain human, using AI to just help us enhance that experience.
Allie, we've got about a minute left, but I wanted to ask you personally, has there been anything that just kind of blew your mind? Because you obviously have been kind of there checking out the floor, and you've done CES before. Is there anything that's kind of like, wow, I can't wait for that?
Okay, this is like such a goofy thing, but robotics is huge. So robots are everywhere. We've seen, you know, robotic vacuums and carpet cleaners, but I saw yesterday at Unveiled, it was a robotic end table, and it's literally like it folds up to just be like something beautiful on your wall, and you can call it over on your app. All of a sudden the wheels pop out, it rolls on over to you, flips out, and next thing you know, you have a table in front of you. And I was like, if you're watching the news and all of a sudden you need to start working, you just call that table over and you got a desk instantaneously.
Give me a table.
Very random, but I was super into it.
You know what? The more random, the better, Allie. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And again, you have the best assignment. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Allie.
Thank you. We'll see you next year.
Yes, please. Put me on the list, Allie. All right, that's going to do it. I love it. Did you hear it? You heard it here first. I'm in. All right, that's going to do it. Des and Ron are next. See you tomorrow.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can't. The music's
Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go.
I hear the music, but I don't hear you. I don't hear me. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
no, stand by, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We can't hear ourselves. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear us.
They're probably in the chat like, what? How can you guys hear yourselves? You're sitting right next to each other.
We have busy engineers this week. We've had a couple of... Yeah, we have a big Zoom interview coming up, guys. So we are gonna need to be able to get our headphones working. No, I mean I could hear the music loud and clear. No. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Des, we have all kinds of cool stuff to talk about. This is Beaver Bay, Minnesota, and let me tell you, I feel shortchanged.
Why?
Because
did you go?
I chose Minnesota as my 2025 state to explore.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't decided on 26, but your home state is in the running. New York.
I love that.
Yeah. Everybody just goes to New York City. I'm like, let's go see Seneca Falls. Let's go see Buffalo. Let's go see Schenectady.
Look at you.
Right?
And you will not be disappointed spending time in Buffalo when it comes to the food.
Oh, really?
So
I thought you were going to say the history.
I mean, that too, Ron.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
nothing else, if everything else fails, the food will not.
Well, here's the funny thing is this is Beaver Bay. And Des, I went to the Split Rock Lighthouse, if I had gone 4 more miles, I could have seen this pretty view right there on Lake Superior. So anyway, that's pretty cool. Welcome in, everybody. It's Ron and Des, and we are here with another half hour of great info. Des, this story about the helicopter crash is it's heartbreaking.
Oh, it's wild.
And so I'm going to roll this video if you haven't seen it yet. These are the family members and friends who lost their lives. David McCarty was flying with his 3 nieces, Caitlin, Rachel, and Faith. Look right here, University of Providence basketball player. And the loss of life is just staggering for this family. It is just so heartbreaking. And it just happened right on the edge of town. The crash happened there just a few miles south of Superior. People don't realize it, but it's pretty rugged through that area. And what they have found is a slack line across a canyon played a role. Who would have thought? The findings say that the helicopter hit a rope, which is used by recreationists to tightrope walk. And the International Slackline Association says it had all the proper aviation markers attached to it. But look, that's how rugged those mountains are up there. And if they were flying, I guess, at such an altitude to have hit the rope coming through that canyon, it's an awfully sad story. That is for sure. But there'll be a final resolution to that, at least in terms of a report coming out, we believe, in about a month or so. The other story, Des, that I think has a lot of people talking is this proposal to, as you know, times are kind of tough in some of our public schools as the birth rate goes down, and charter schools compete with public schools. So there's a bill that could help deal with the wave of school closures and help people find affordable housing. There's a state senator, John Kavanaugh, introducing Senate Bill 1080. You know, the legislature starts here pretty quick. It would allow school districts to lease some of their land so they would have income coming in for affordable housing for teachers.
I think this is, a great idea.
It makes sense from both, the school, they're trying to generate some income.
I think it helps maybe address the immediate issue, but I think the overall issue is, cost of living, affordability, and whatnot. But this might help in the short term, at least get them into, proper housing.
Yep. All right. So we're going to follow that through. It's in the legislature, so, I'm sure there will be some opposition as well. We'll try to cover all sides of that. Okay, if you are ready, we are going to interview Glen Duerr. He, by the way, is a professor of international relations and a PhD at Cedarville University. Hello, Dr. Duerr.
Great to be with you.
Good to be with you, too. Of course, everybody seems to be talking about what's going on with Venezuela. So we, with your level of expertise, we did want to bring it. Did the developments over the last 48 hours or so now, did it surprise you?
Yes. One of my colleagues, former military, did predict that Maduro would be gone by Christmas, given the wide-scale buildup of the U.S. in the Caribbean. But it took me by surprise because Maduro and Chavez before him have been long-standing, and even though they've really run the country into the ground, they've really just muddled through stolen elections in 2018 and 2024. And so taking him was a pretty significant surprise. The next thing was wow, this is really very bold, unexpected, but significant professionalism on the part of the military. And then third was just, there are a lot of questions. Well, what now? What does this look like? There's still a lot to figure out because removing Maduro is one thing, but the infrastructure of his regime is still in place.
President Trump said he would like to see serious progress within 18 months for the oil infrastructure in that country. And what kind of a partnership or overseeing kind of relationship the U.S. has with Venezuela remains to be seen. What would your prediction be for where things would stand in Venezuela? Maybe an optimistic version and a pessimistic version, say about 2 years out.
If we go back to the 20th century, really in the middle part of the 20th century, even towards the end, Venezuela was one of the wealthiest countries in Latin America. Caracas was compared to Paris and Geneva. So there's a significant backdrop in history where Venezuela has done very well. Venezuela has an estimated 303 billion barrels of oil. It's the world's largest reserve, and yet only produces about 1 million barrels a day, in comparison to 22 million in the United States or 11 million in Saudi Arabia. And one of the big reasons is that the infrastructure has been allowed to really erode. American companies were ostensibly kicked out in 2007 when the former dictator Hugo Chavez nationalized oil. But there are significant companies within Venezuela. There's an Italian company, a Spanish company, a Brazilian company, and Chevron, an American company, still has some infrastructure there, but it hasn't been kept up really in the last 25 years. And so the optimistic answer to your question is, can Venezuela get back to 3 million barrels a day? It's what it used to do in the 1990s, 80s, and 70s in previous decades. The less optimistic view is that it just takes time, that it stagnates, that it maybe continues to produce only 1 million barrels a day. But I think with the added emphasis on really trying to get it off the ground again, of utilizing it to get Venezuela back moving forward as a strong economy in Latin America, the optimistic view has some possibility.
And Professor, too, to talk about the more immediate situation that folks in Venezuela are having to deal with, even specifically Caracas, because there are reports that there's guards on the streets, they're checking individuals' phones. How does a country even begin to recover? Obviously, long term, it's, to get in, to start producing more of the oil, get the economy up and going. But in the immediate, how do folks get through this?
Yeah, it's a great question, because if we zoom out, Venezuela is about 30 million people, but almost 8 million have fled. They're economic migrants in the United States, but more in Colombia, Brazil, throughout the Caribbean. People have suffered a long time, and Venezuela has one of the largest, unfortunately, homicide rates in the world. So it's a very precarious situation. The military is still in favor of Syleste Rodriguez, the vice president under Maduro, again, stolen elections. But they still have the guns, the strength within the society. one of the keys is what it looks like moving forward. If Rodriguez is in charge, as she says she is, but Trump is orchestrating some of the decisions behind the scenes, then the security situation will have to improve. But then also we need to get back to local services that have just been really eroded, of course, over the course of the last 27 years. And even though Venezuela is federal, like in the United States, where there are powers that go down to the states and to the municipalities, those have been largely eroded. And so home rule to come back, local policing, local services, those are key areas really where Venezuela will need to improve in the course of the next 6 months to really change course.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we've only got a minute left. I wanted to ask you, so you're a professor at Cedarville University, which is in Cedarville, Ohio, and you had a book come out called Secessionism and the European Union. We've got about 30 seconds left. Give us a quick crib notes on that book.
Yeah, it looks at national identity in a range of long-standing democratic states in Europe, from the United Kingdom to Spain to Belgium. And yet there are significant peaceful movements in each country, from Scotland in the UK, Flanders in Belgium, Catalonia in Spain, that have really been agitating for independence. And the book in particular takes a deep dive at the status of each movement, political parties that are advancing these causes, but also the way that the national states are pushing back to maintain British, Belgian, and Spanish national identities.
Well, I wondered if I heard a Scottish accent there. Is that what I hear?
Born and raised in the UK, lived in Canada for a decade, but my parents are from Michigan, so an eclectic background.
Well, I was going to sing the praises.
So how is that Christmas? So no accent for them, right?
Sorry, pardon me?
So your parents, they don't carry the accent that you do?
No, it was funny when I was growing up. When someone called on a house phone, you could always tell who you were talking to, because my dad had an American accent, I had the British, my mother an American, my sister Canadian, and so you could always tell who you're talking to on the phone immediately.
Your family's your own
dinner
version.
At your house is fun.
No kidding.
Right.
You're the UN of Ohio, that's for sure. Great talking to you. Thanks, Professor.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Mystery Cam. All right, everybody, welcome back. Ron and Des, FTT, we are the wrap-up team. It all starts at 10 a.m. We roll right through till 12 noon, giving you live programming, live content on YouTube and on the Fox local app and on Channel 45, which is Fox 10 Extra. Tell all your friends about it. Let's see, Des, what are we seeing for some guesses here?
Not too many, but a few are starting to come in this morning. We have a guess of Michigan from Little Philosophy.
Yeah.
And with a question mark, though.
Oh.
So they may be questioning themselves about where this could be. And then Louis Gonzalez is guessing Ohio. And Brandy, she just got in there with her guess of Wyoming or Nebraska.
You know, there's 50 states to choose from. So I think Brandy is right on top of things here to say, I can double my odds to pick a couple of states that are right next to each other. Yeah, I like that kind of thinking. Maybe in honor of Brandy someday we'll pick 2 states.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
Okay, let's do it today. Let's do it today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
What are your 2 states? In honor of Brandy.
Can I go with Brandy's guesses?
Sure. Okay.
Brandy, I'm going with
Wyoming and Nebraska?
Sure.
I could see that. I could really see that.
Guess?
Okay, I'm going to go Michigan and let's see, what else would be kind of up
Melinda's guessing
area?
Tennessee.
Okay, I'll go Michigan and Tennessee. All right, Des, here comes the answer on the mystery.
Much snow. We'll see, though. I'd be surprised if it was Tennessee. Oh, it's Oswego, New York.
Your neck of the woods?
Ooh,
How far is that away from Buffalo? Like an hour?
Oswego is probably...
Yeah.
What is it? 2?
It's not even to Syracuse, right? It's halfway in between, kind of.
Yeah, so maybe an hour.
Okay.
Just pass.
Well, Des, I mean, let's enjoy that view for once. I mean, we're making you homesick, I suppose.
I guess, yeah. Yesterday, Monday, right? Yesterday was Monday. Yeah, we had shots of Buffalo. Yeah, that's what I was like, no, it's past Rochester because it's more than an hour. Yeah. So it's maybe almost 2.
What is Oswego famous for?
Well, they have a university there.
Oh.
So I don't know. I guess that's about it.
Okay.
I haven't spent much time in Oswego.
No? Yeah.
No, but
I had a friend who bicycled the entire Erie Canal.
Oh, really?
From like wherever, Albany, all the way across to Buffalo.
Wow.
It's a week-long trip. A buddy of mine, and he did it with his sisters, who are also cyclists.
Oh,
and
cool.
they did it in the fall, and it was like one of their favorite vacays ever.
Okay. Well, they have the Fort Ontario State Historic Site is there in Oswego.
Nice.
Right on the lake. Ron, you maybe add that to your to your list. Right along Lake Ontario. But yeah, it's probably at least over 2 hours because it's well past Rochester.
By the way, shout out to Kyle, our engineer. I can now hear my microphone. Woohoo!
Yay! Woo-hoo.
It's the little things in life, that you look forward to. Anyway, we got an amazing engineering staff. We have a project underway here in our TV studios and in our streaming studios.
Yeah, are we allowed to talk about that?
I don't know. I maybe later when we have something to show, we could wander around one day and show it. Okay, let's go to the poll question because it's getting lots of action. Pentagon makes the move to demote Mark Kelly over the illegal orders video. 19% say it's a bad move. There was absolutely nothing wrong with what he said or did. 8% say it's the right move. Strong enough, but court-martial would have gone too far. But 74%, these numbers have really moved around in the last hour. 74% say he should have faced a court-martial. Des.
And 61% here on YouTube with more than 2,500 votes. We're at about 2,800 right now. 61% think it's a bad move. 13% are saying it's right. 26% saying he should have faced a court-martial.
Let's go to Big D. What do you see, friend?
Hello, friends. We've got a lot of comments on this, as always. Gloria in Winslow says...
Stand by. Hold on, Dick.
Oh,
photobomb. Photobomb.
Photobomb. Oh,
Where'd
Isabella. The Bella Bomb. Very good.
Hey, Bella.
Gloria in Winslow says instead of going public with his comments, he should have tried some diplomacy and reached out to Pete Hegseth about his concerns, or he could have reached out to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and spoke privately. But he chose to make a video and post it for the whole world to see. Efren Starks in Tonopah says, after serving for 20 years, if I had an officer make those statements in front of my junior sailors, I would have reported it to the chain of command as spreading mutiny. Our troops troops know what an illegal order is. His timing was for pushing a political posturing agenda against the current chain of command by sowing doubt and fear. And finally, Lisa D. 1167 says, why is he in trouble? For repeating what is in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. All he did was say what the law is. They want to prosecute him under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for repeating what is in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Make it make sense. Really interesting perspectives. Keep them up, guys.
Okay. Well, there you go. Hey, by the way, there has been a lot of talk, and we haven't really addressed it here on the pod at all yet today, Des, but people are concerned or wondering if there is going to be increased ICE enforcement or if it's already going on.
Right. There are some folks witnessing things around the Valley, and they had some questions, so we took those to state lawmakers.
Yeah. Okay. So, in fact, here is our report on that right now.
I have not heard anything from the Trump administration say that they were ramping up enforcement.
Since when are you guys raiding here, huh? Get the hell out of here, man! You're not welcome here.
This is the first time that we have this, that we see this type of raid. We have seen like individuals being targeted where they came specifically for an individual, but this time they didn't come for an individual. They came for whoever they could pick up.
If they were known criminals, convicted criminals, I could understand this. But these people who are looking for work and they're just trying to survive.
Since when are you guys raiding here, huh? Get the hell out of here, man! You're not welcome here.
Well, there you go. Ashley Rodriguez had done a great job for us in covering that story. And, yeah, we're going to stay on top of it for sure because...
Individuals that you heard there, I think the second gentleman, he's an immigration activist named Salvador Reyes. Mm-hmm. He caught what he says was the end of an ICE raid at a Phoenix Home Depot Sunday morning when he said 2 laborers were detained. So that was the second person that you heard from there. And Ashley Rodriguez did that full report for us last night. But as you heard him say that, it's the type of raids that we are typically seeing in LA or Chicago. This is apparently the video that he took there. So, obviously there's some concern about that, and that's what we were digging into.
Right. Okay, so we will definitely stay on top of that one. On a little lighter note, Des, I still, when I see a Waymo, because they like
do you do a double take?
They're driving downtown all the time.
Yeah.
I believe Phoenix was the first city that they were tested in. You could see these driverless cars, I think around 2020 or 21.
I know. I forget how unique to the Valley that they are.
Yes.
Every time my parents are here, they're like, what? It startles them. And I'm like, you're right. This isn't happening everywhere, but take a look at this. Now Uber is debuting its robo-taxi.
Yeah, so they introduced their new autonomous vehicle. It's a response to Waymo, and it's going to include high-res cameras and sensors and radar. And we're told it can hold up to 6 passengers. So if you wanted to do a ride share and maybe lower the cost. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I know it's progress, but I have one of my best buddies from my young days, from college days, who does really well driving for Uber. And I think the more robotization of this, there'll be a lot of people who, love to have a chance to make, $100 a day driving for Uber. He also drives for Lyft, or more. He's not quite retired yet, and so he makes, the money that he needs to kind of get by. And I just think it's going to impact a lot of people's jobs.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. Especially in today's economy. A lot of people, that might be their second or even third side hustle. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how this unfolds.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's happening, and we're going to start to see them. They're going to launch their new fleet in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. I always felt like one of the reasons Phoenix was so perfect for this concept was because of our grid system, and we're on a flat desert floor. San Francisco?
All hills.
Not so much.
I know.
Windy. Let's see it go down Lombard Street.
Can that put on the emergency brake itself? Kind of looks like a cop car though with the like bar or whatever that is on the top there.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that part.
Yeah, trying to figure that out. It does. Yeah, people might be pulling over.
But then Waymo, what do they have? They've got the giant.
Yeah, like the circulating
dome of like cameras, spinning.
The spinning cam. Yeah. Good point. Well, all right, so that's happening. There's another story that I think is really interesting, which has to do with something new coming to the WM Phoenix Open. Now, it is the People's Open. It's fun. It's kind of loud and crazy, and I think the golfers like it as much as the fans because, I mean, a lot of these golf courses are very buttoned down, you know.
Yeah.
They come here and I
hear it's quite the party out there on the green.
Especially 16. But
yes, especially hole 16.
Here's what they're going to roll out. Check this out. The new ice cream at the WM.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like the looks of this.
It looks good. I love the color. That light green.
Yeah, it looks minty.
Yeah, they're partnering with Novel Ice Cream. Novel is so... It is. Bella said so good. It is so good, but they come up with the most unique flavors, like combinations you would never, ever put together.
Okay.
But this one sounds actually really, really good. Yeah. So it's a mint-flavored ice cream with chocolate chips, pretzels, and green and yellow candies. And I would assume, like, what do those look like, right? They look like M&Ms, but... Mm-hmm. Of course, they probably can't officially use them because of the branding, but maybe that looks so good.
Maybe they scrubbed off the little M.
Yeah, you think, to each one before they put it in?
I don't know what it's going to cost, but this is kind of cool. 20% of all the sales are going to go to the Working for Tomorrow Fund.
Love that.
Which helps support sustainability in Arizona. And of course, I mean, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, they're very big into recycling and sustainability. So if you can figure out a way to involve ice cream in that, well, then I think you got a winner on your hands. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Get the triple decker.
Oh, that looks so good. I could eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Where else can you go for novel ice cream? You guys are like, it's super good. Do they have stores? What's that, Bella?
There's a place downtown.
Really? Right downtown
Well, I'm
Phoenix.
looking right now.
Okay.
Is it just the one they have?
All right. Well, they're going to have one out there at the WM. That's for sure.
According to Google, if that's right, they're on Grand Avenue.
Oh.
So 1028 Grand Ave.
Okay.
Right here in Phoenix.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's today's FTT. Are you ready to wrap it up, Des, or do you have another hour?
I suppose. Well, we could stay another hour.
We could.
Let's do it.
With more ice cream talk. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.